Good evening, everyone. And once again, welcome to this webinar brought to you by Soil Institute of Management. Today, we'll be discussing about the future of MBA in finance. We have two alumni with us, Mr. Kanav Khanna and Mr. Shashwat Dikshit. In this webinar, we'll be talking about possible paths to build a career in finance, some common mistakes that students make with their CV, and some CV building tips for freshers as well as for working individuals. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce you to our first speaker, who is Mr. Kanav Khanna. Mr. Khanna holds 7+ years of working experience. He started his journey with Jamna Auto Industries in investors relations. After his stint at Soil, he joined HCL as an associate manager. He's currently working for a PE and VC funded startup called Vendyman. Speaking of his educational background, he has done his business graduation from University of London. So let's hear from Mr. Khanna. Over to you, Kanav.
Hi, Rohan, and hello to everyone, and thanks for the lovely introduction. And I hope everyone is doing well. This is a very interesting topic because honestly, even I, being an MBA in finance, asked myself this question very often when I was in Soil, and this was around 5-6 years ago. So though I had a better idea because I was before joining the Soil, I started my career in finance only. Until now, I've been like stuck to finance. So I had an idea, and now I have a better idea. So though there are a big variety of career options now available in the field of finance, which the MBAs can do. But I have narrowed it down to 4 buckets, which I think Rohan can display right now. So let me run through it. And after that, we can open the floor for questions, or maybe after the fellow panelists. Yeah. Yeah. So again, this is not an exhaustive list. There are a lot of careers available for finance students, MBA finance students. So, but these are the most famous ones. So I'll start with corporate finance and accounts. FNAs. By FNA, I mean finance and accounts. So basically, accounting. First of all, let's talk about accounting. Accounting. See, you guys, I'm guessing, come with a little bit of experience, and if your experience is not pertaining to accounting, then I would suggest not to take up this role, because this is highly technical, and it is only meant for maybe people who have pursued this role before MBA. So this is so basically in accounting, I think the level that you can reach on to after maybe 5-6 years of experiences of a finance controller or a head of accounts. So this is one, basically this is running the accounting department day in and day out. This role entails that. It also, the most important aspect of this role is keeping the books in order and getting them audited. These are the main 2 tasks that a head of accounts is given to do. Second is FP&A, MIS and costing. So this I have categorized in 1 bucket only. This is one of the very interesting roles, and one of the roles that I am also I have done in my previous organizations as well, and even now I am in charge of the FP&A of a company called Vendyman. And in FP&A, basically there is a monthly MIS that goes to the management, and it has the analysis of all the financial statements on a monthly basis. And there are a lot of ad hoc analysis that are also done. So basically, I am the insights guy for the management on the financial performance of the financial and operational performance of the company. And MIS and FP&A are linked in the way that FP&A is more into financial aspect of the performance, and MIS is on the operational side. So, and costing, of course, is linked because I think this basically is, entails product costing and making costing sheets, making analysis such as marginal costing, budgeting, etc. Another one is banking and treasury. This is again a role that I've done in the past. This is handling the banking limits of the company. What exactly you do in this is that every company has a consortium or a multiple banking system from wherein they withdraw their what do you call it, working capital and term loan limits. So making projections for the company that they give to the banks and handling the relationship, and also running the day-to-day activities, doing the cash flow planning of day-to-day, and ensuring that the company never runs out of cash or banking limits. Investor relations is a very interesting role. This is basically how to sell your company to the group of investors. Now, these investors can be PEVC fund or it can be capital market. Like if it's a listed company, the investors can be your the stock market investors. So basically, you have to by selling the company means that you have to portray how your company is a good prospect for investment. So can you move back to the previous slide? Sorry. Previous one. Yeah. The fifth one is fundraise. Now, like for example, I'm working for a company which is backed by PE and VC funds. So after every few months, when we are short of cash, we have to do this fundraise activity. Right now, for example, Wendy Man is going in for a Series B funding, and basically what this means is making presentation on behalf of the company and giving it to the prospective investors and handling their queries about the operations and the operating performance of the company. This is again a very, very interesting and a very, very challenging role as well. So this is so now we can move on to the next slide. This was corporate bucket. Now banking. By banking, I mean if, for example, you guys get placed in a bank, for example, HDFC Bank or an ICICI Bank. So what all roles can you do there? Personal banking is one. It's not my personal favorite, but again, there are people who have really thrived in this field. Personal banking and wealth management. Wealth management as a field, I think it's very upcoming, and there are a few. I've heard that there are a few countries where everyone has in India, for example, we have family doctors. There are family wealth managers also. So I think this trend is here to pick up because more and the attraction towards stock market is increasing these days. And now, especially we saw this last year when there was a thrust of IPOs that came in, and there was the general public had a very big attraction towards the stock market. And of course, not everybody is sort of expert in investing. So you do need wealth managers. And see, corporate banking, RM. So corporate banking, again, this is an interesting role and again a challenging one. In this, what exactly you'll be doing is that you'll be maintaining, you have to, first of all, rope in new companies. Basically, you have to make the way of your bank in the multiple banking or consortium of companies. And this entails knowing what exactly the requirement of funding each and every company has. It can be on the working capital side, it can be on the capex side, it can be on the term loan side. It can be restructuring also. And maintaining that relationship with the company, because one company might have multiple banks in their consortium or multiple banking systems. So being the best bank, and it also means fighting with your own bank to give the best interest rates to your clients. So you have to balance both the sides in this role. Treasury and forex is a bit of a technical role. So as you must be knowing that especially the companies that are into exports and imports, they need currency hedges. This department basically deals with them, and it's an interesting role, and though a little technical one, but it's a good role. Backend can be the processes which are not, client facing. There are a lot of processes, banking processes, which are there. So, any taking a good role, and it can be on the credit side, it can be on the commercial paper side. So the whole handling the whole process that happens on the back end, this is done by them. And the credit again is a very interesting role. Basically, this means the credit. This role entails the credit evaluation of each and every company that the proposal of companies that come. Basically, getting to know that how much banking limit should be sanctioned to a company, whether the company will be able to repay the loans taken by the bank or not, and what is the credit rating of the company, and how much interest rate bracket can be given to each and every uh, different company. We can move on. So equity research, I think this is one of the favorite roles that every MBA finance to take up. So I think I will divide equity research into two main buckets. One is buy side and one is sell side. So I'll start by sell side first. I think we all have heard names, Goldman Sachs and the Indian brokerages like Motilal Oswal, HDFC Securities, Spark Capital. All of these names we read in and day out. Basically, what these guys do is they sell securities to the buy side, which are banks, mutual fund, PMSs, insurance companies. Basically, their job is of brokerage. And every broker has a panel of equity researchers who write reports on each and every company, and then they sell those ideas to these banks and mutual funds, and they earn brokerage out of it. So basically, buy side would take help of sell side to buy a stock, because sell side specializes in equity research a little more than buy side. And sell side usually has an analyst of each, you can say, what do you call it? You can say each sector. For example, there will be an agriculture sector, there will be capital intensive sector, FMCG sector, IT sector. The analysts will be, all of them will be different. Though these days, even mutual funds are departmentalizing those, but still they need some broker or the other. And usually all these brokers are empaneled with every insurance company or mutual fund, but what happens is whichever is their favorite will get the brokerage. So there is a fight on that. And this is a role wherein you have to prove your credibility. Whatever target you give to a company, whatever target price you give to a company, if the range, if it is a hit all the time or most of the time, then I think you have a good name in the industry. So it's a very interesting role, though a very thorough one, both of them, buy side and sell side, but interesting. We'll move on. Yeah, so investor relations, this is an upcoming role. I think 5 years or 6 years back when I did my MBA, I think this was still upcoming. Now, I think, especially last 2 years, there is a big demand of professionals in this role, and I would highly suggest each one of you that do research about this. And because I have done it in the past and I'm still doing it, you can hit me up. My number is at the end of this presentation. So you can ask me any questions regarding it. So basically, investor relations, there are two buckets that I would create. One is corporate. Like, for example, right now I'm in the corporate investor relations role. I am employed by a company to sell the stock to, or sell the idea of that company to the prospective investors. And second is consulting, wherein like a firm like PwC or EY. I was working with EY before this. So, there are many investor relations firms that are mushrooming these days, big and small. and in fact, I had joined a small investor relations firm, and then that firm got acquired by EY. So that's how I became a part of EY. And EY bought that firm because even they realized that this investor relations as a practice is like hot and upcoming. So in the consulting part of it, what exactly you do is that you will have your clients, which will be corporates, like the one mentioned above, and you will be marketing the stock or marketing the share of or the idea of that company on behalf of them. So that usually this consulting team has a panel of professionals that are good in presentation, that are good in projection making, that are good in equity research also. If you have these three skills and you have a lot of common sense, so I think more than anything else, you need a lot of common sense in this role. So if you have that, I think this is perfect for you. And it is a thriving, trust me when I say it's a thriving field. So I think this was the last one. Right? Yeah. So you can see my phone number and email ID. You can contact me anytime if you have any queries. So now I give it back to Rohan. Thanks.
Thank you, Kanav. That was indeed very detailed and very thorough understanding. Give us complete understanding. I'm sure a lot of students will benefit a lot from the information that you have shared. Also, we'll share this PPT with the students.
Yeah, and
now,
again, one more thing. This is not an exhaustive list. There are a lot of careers that are that I may not be knowing very well. So if you guys have any query about them, which I have not listed here, you can please ask me. I'll be happy to elaborate. Thanks.
definitely. Thank you so much, Kanav. So now moving on to our next speaker. Our next speaker is a true go-getter. President from the year 2020-21 batch. He's Mr. Shashwat Dikshit. He started his journey as a co-founder of his own startup that dealt with roadside assistance. He's an electrical engineer who later on moved to finance. He is associate cost and management accountant. He's winner of all-rounder of the year award. He's also winner of the role model of finance cohort, also winner of HDS Mehrotra Award for contribution in social innovation program, a PlaceCom member, and after his stint at Soil, he joined consulting with one of the big fours. He's currently working as a senior consultant with EY. So let's hear from the horse's mouth. So welcome, Shashwat.
Thanks, Rohan, and thanks, Kanav, for a very detailed understanding, to give a very detailed understanding of the relevant roles that are there post an MBA in finance. I, on the other hand, yes, I am from a consulting background, but I'm not much of a PPT geek, I would say. I'm more of a speaker. That is what interests me better. So after Kanav has done the hard work, I just try to take help from the presentation that he has made, and I'll move on to the other relevant points that were there for the session planned today. So moving on, the roles that Kanav very well elaborated, there were certain roles that I would also like to, pinpoint very specifically that are actually growing in today's scenario. And one of them was already pointed out by Kanav, that was on equity research, maybe you can call it equity consulting as well, which some of the big fours do. But my key area of focus would be three things. As on today, as on when we see India in the year 2022, and we see where we are projected towards as an economy. So one very major aspect that I see, which majority of the MBA finance people are lacking, which Kanav also pointed out very well, was that there is a lack of subject matter expertise. I mean, finance today is not a process-oriented role. It is not just running onto MISs, running onto some softwares, running onto some audit reports, but it is more of a subject matter expertise. When we look at finance professionals today, we understand that the organizations that we are working for, maybe the clients that we are serving, they look out for our expertise. They look out for our understanding of the subject, wherein we can actually support them in getting things done. For example, if we are working in, say, the finance department of one private limited company, the board members, especially the CFO and the CEO, would be willingly, looking out for us to give us insights. That's something that Kanav is doing maybe. When it comes to my role as a consultant, my clients are completely dependent on me when I come out with my analysis on things. When I come out with my analysis on a cabinet note, maybe I'm working specifically on the government, if you guys would want to know. So that is something that is how the role has changed over the years. It has moved from just a process to a subject matter expertise. And I see that majority of the MBAs that I deal with day in, day out, they are just trying to be jack of all trades, but then according to me, that doesn't really work well in finance. You actually have to find a niche, become an expert in that, and grow from there. That is my understanding of it. And another another domain of interest which I feel is actually growing very well is CSR, wherein we see that corporates are trying to be at par with the Companies Act 2013 with the section 135, and we look at CSR as a spent. When then they take notice of a lot of money flowing in from their systems to the outward systems, they are wanting to be very focused about how they're spending it, because CSR audits are also becoming a norm, as the statutory audits are in today's time. You'll understand cost audits are also becoming a norm in today's time. And we can see that their horizons will be opening up, not just limited to manufacturing companies as on date, which we see today. So that is another role. And lastly, if I would like to really bring into the notice, would be public finance as a domain, as an area of utmost importance. Why? Because you will see not just the government of India, not just very several other state governments, but also multidisciplinary international organizations like the UN. All of these organizations today are working towards PPP, that is public-private partnership, and they're really looking forward to, get the best from the market, because all these organizations are working to end the last mile problems in the globe, if we say. And these roles are pretty exciting, if I tell you, and they are actually, growing in stature every day. Guys, if you could just excuse me, I'm losing out on battery. Just a second, please. Sorry, guys. Yeah. Okay. So these 3 points and areas said and done, apart from the ones that Kanav had already pointed out in his presentation, I would quickly, before we started the questions, because I would love for this to be more of a conversation wherein we are able to talk in depth about each and everybody's aspirations and their own journeys as such, as to where they want their future to be or how they intend to make their future. I would like to definitely talk about certain key points which I guess could really help us in making a career in finance post an MBA. So one which really worked very well for me, frankly, and I'm sure people with certain years of experience would understand this. Everybody say that you should actually try and practice something that you really like doing. Maybe we say we define that for artists, that somebody's hobby is their profession and how beautiful it is. And frankly, we see that finance cannot be anybody's hobby as such, but the numbers can be, talking to people can be, consulting can be, advising people can be. And yeah, I can proudly say that I'm one of those lucky few to be practicing something that I really enjoy doing. And that is one key thing that I want you people to understand while building a career in finance or going towards a career in finance as to what is it that you like to do. If you think that you are a people's person, go on to client facing roles. If you think that you're more of an introvert, you like to be in your space, you like to have your own time, work in your own space, go into research, do it that way. That is for you to decide on your own, for your mentors to decide on your own, for your friends maybe. I mean, those who know you, people who know you would be the best ones to actually, support you in that. That is one thing which I really want you guys to work on, as to what would be your area of interest. Because don't just think of an MBA as let's say a recruitment jump that you are looking out for. You come to an MBA program, spend a year or two, chill, party, study a little, and then think that you'll end up earning 200% of what you were earning before. You might. I'm not saying you will not. You might, but then will you be happy doing that? Is the question. Because after spending a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of energy over an MBA, if you think that by just getting a job that is paying you more would serve your cause, I dissent from it. I'm sorry. And just to close this, one thing which I would definitely suggest, especially people who want to build a long-term career in finance, look out for certifications. Look out for certifications that help you in creating an expert niche. Like I specifically deal in public finance as a domain for my government clients. Okay. And I am a qualified cost and management accountant. I ensured that I became one. If you guys don't know what a cost accountant is, better Google it, and please be double sure before thinking that you are wanting to do an MBA in finance if you don't know what a cost accountant is. But yes, my role is pretty heavy on financial analysis. My role is pretty heavy in devising strategy for implementation as well as policy. So that is where my expertise, my niche comes in. I mean, I might be consulting a secretary level bureaucrat who has 30, 35, 40 years of experience maybe, but why will he listen to a guy who's 30? Because he understands that this guy who's 30 comes with 8 years of experience just into this field. So if I say something, he will listen to it and will respect it. So I would close my part of the presentation into this, that come into subject matter expertise, come into a finance domain of your choice, and try that you choose what you really like doing. So these three would be the key takeaways from my own side. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shashwat. That was indeed very helpful. I have a quick question here. How do you know when you are in a one-year course, and especially someone who's coming from a non-finance background, how does he know what's his calling or what's his niche? Because everything is like Greek to him for the initial month. So how do we know what's your calling?
Can I take that, Shashwat, if you don't mind?
Sure, Kanav. I've already
I
spoken
think,
a lot.
yeah, I think, for example, if somebody is coming from a non-finance background, say an engineering or a IT background, he will definitely be very confused and will not know what his calling is. But especially because finance is just a field that he has heard, and there are few subjects that he has learned in his MBA. That's what he knows about it. And in real life, he has not dealt with in his this thing. So the way forward for those people is that talk to as many people as possible, and just make them sit in front of you. These can be your friends, these can be your seniors, these can be your professors, these can be the people that you know from the industry. And these have to be like a long one-on-one sessions where you make sure that you get insights about each and every role. Because I've seen many people who have jumped into a career that maybe was not, maybe was not there, and then they kind of struggled. And then maybe eventually they also found way forward. But obviously, because this 1 year or 2 years is that you've got in your life is about studying and learning new things, yes, but also figuring out what you want to do. So talking to the people that you think are uh, are experts in the field that you are very enthusiastic about, do talk to them and break it down to the T of the role that you are aspiring for. And I think there is no other this thing. And of course, there are these internships also, but internships, I'll be very honest, people in my batch took internships just by the brand name. Role को कोई देखता नहीं था. And में क्या होता है कि there are people who are not placed in any internship, so they'll take whatever comes there because there are marks and there's 1 month that you have to do something. So if you get internships in the field that you aspire for, nothing like it. But if you don't end up getting those internships, do talk to people and do research, read and talk. That is the only way.
Exactly. In addition to it, we have internal external mentorship program at Soil. So that gives us a complete understanding and enough people and enough exposure to all these different fields and right people to talk to about our career aspirations. So we have next question from Akshay, that someone who's wishing to enter into banking, are there any relevant certification that they can do?
You want to take that, Shashwat?
Yeah, I don't mind. We both can take that. So talking specifically about banking as a domain, talking specifically about banking certifications, there are a lot of certifications today when it comes to banking risks. And there are a lot of government bodies today who are actually, helping out with these certifications with their course materials as well as their timely examinations. That is something that really helps in the banking domain. Talking about BFSI as a sector together, you would have definitely understood and know about the actuarial valuation courses. They are in tremendous demand in today's times, and they are going to be larger in demand in the times to come. You will see a lot of changes in the way our governance structure in the banking institutions is also coming in the country. We will see a lot of courses that SEBI will itself undertake, and that will also pertain to banking institutions. So yeah, that is a very pretty exciting space coming in, and I guess by 2024, that being an election year, we might see something coming onto that.
Just adding on to what Shashwat just mentioned. So I think most of you might be knowing there is a body called Corporate Finance Institute, CFI. So they have one of those certifications that they have is, I think, credit and banking and security, something like that. You do check it out. So it gives you the basics of banking and credit. So and I've seen the course material, pretty good. So one of the things that you can do is that. And otherwise, I think if you want to be a corporate banker, relationship manager, there is no set certification apart from what Shashwat has already mentioned and what I mentioned per se. I think like investor relations, corporate banking is also a little bit technical, not really technical. You just need to know the systems of the bank, and otherwise it is more of common sense. So I think there is a course, yes, in CFI, and it's pretty good. You can check it out.
Also, I think there's an exam called SIE and FINRA exams. Could you tell us where do these exams take you? I think they were also in corporate banking side. So would you have any idea that?
I would have very limited idea. I think if Shashwat can add.
I think.
Sorry, guys. Can you please come again? What was the question?
Sure. So there are SIE exam and FINRA exam. FINRA Series 723. They're basically on the investing side, corporate investing. So would you have any idea that what kind of opportunities these exams can open?
funds management is something which is very much, out of direct scope into that. Also, when it comes to, I mean, by fund management, I'm talking about fund management as a domain as a whole. Okay, it might go on to sector specific things in the years to come, but one simple one-worded answer to that would be fund management. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We have a lot of questions coming in regarding certification. So we have a question from Ritwik, that what kind of NCFM and NISM certifications will help us?
Can I take that first?
Please.
Yeah. So see, NCFM and NISM certifications are as far as I'm concerned, they would be like a precursor or like a primer to CFA, and they do give you a lot of depth into how stock markets work. So anybody who's looking into a career in brokerages, in equity research, it's a very good precursor. It's not the be all and end all, but yes, definitely you'll learn a lot of how the mechanics of markets work, especially these stock markets. So do take them up if you're planning to. They're good. But I think the be all and end all would be a CFA in equity research.
All right. So we have another one from Anubhuti Gupta, that she wants to end up in a top consulting firm. What kind of certificates should she consider?
Anubhuti, I mean, just to add on to your question, I would like to really question you back. You can quickly answer that, okay? When we say certifications, what are the domains of your interest? When we say, a top 4 consulting firm, there are these big fours, as you say, or the bigger threes, the MBBs, McKinsey, Bains, and Bostons. They have their own various verticals of practice, okay? So if you can really narrow it down onto your area of interest, I can help you with the certifications, because if we start listing the certifications, I guess the session time would be quite less.
And yeah, I think adding on to what Shashwat just said, see, consulting is not one thing. Like, it's not chartered accountancy, or it is not cost accountancy. It is being like a expert of many. It can be for supply chain, it can be for finance, it can be for HR. Consulting can be for anything. So whatever you are into, whatever you want to get into, there are various certifications. And more than certifications, I think build a good brand of yourself, because more of these consulting firms, at least the McKinseys and all, and I know this personally because my wife is in McKinsey and Company. So they're all of them are just branded people. आप 400 रुपए की चीज अगर आप अरमानी के भाव बेच सकते हो, that is what consulting is in crude language. So build a brand of yourself, and the certifications are always available in the subject area that you're targeting.
All right. Thank you. We have another question that looking into the new technological improvement and advancement, what are the new things, or how is finance as a domain getting transformed with these IT innovation?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely love to take this question, because talking about consulting being a fine prime niche or an added cost to a niche over a brand, I would like to answer that. I am into technology consulting in the government and public sector. And today, when I look at the technology advancements in the global scenario as well as the national scenario, the scope is humongous. We can just understand it from the way that a lot of cloud technology implementation or digitization is taking place in yesteryear's part of the globe, especially post the COVID debacle that we are hopefully out of. And you will see a lot of new emerging technologies that are coming on the foray. Whenever we look out for a finance expert in technology or technology consulting or technology companies or technology providing companies, you will have to have people who are finance experts in your teams. Why, how, when? All the finance processes goes onto these projects as well. All the finance expertise and niche when it comes to subject matter expertise goes into these fields. Also, people who are having a technological background, who are techies in their previous work experiences and want to move into a career in finance, they can actually be in a product role wherein they understand the technological things, sides of things about the product that they are working on, and then they come in with their understanding and expertise of finance. So technology, according to me, you can understand as a product itself, wherein all the finance functions that have been happening in day old companies are now transferred into products as such, and all those roles are actually booming and growing very fast. And people who are coming from technological backgrounds, who are serious IT engineers, who have worked in these technology projects and technology companies, would be a very good fit, because companies will look out for people who know the products that they are working on.
Sorry, I think we lost you, Shashwat. Hello, Shashwat, are you there?
I think his
I think,
screen
yeah.
is frozen. But just adding on to what Shashwat said, see, if you want to get greater insights into this is a very good question and a relevant question. I had a fellow, the role model student of my batch. He was from IT background, and he moved into the IT product space. Uh, so his name is Udit Khurana. I think you can definitely look him up on LinkedIn, and you can connect with him. He'll be very happy to take up all your questions in this space, because he's sort of kind of the candidate that you guys are. This question is relevant to. And of course, Shashwat is back, so he can continue.
Sorry, I just lost out of bandwidth in between. Yeah, I mean, I was done answering that question. I suppose we may take further questions, please.
So I think that's all the questions that we had for today. The other questions that we have, we'll get back to you personally. So thank you so much, Sashwat and Kanav, for taking out your time. We know Kanav was traveling and in the middle of his journey, he has taken out his time. And Sashwat, you had a working day today. So thank you so much. Thank you for this insightful session. We really appreciate it.
No
Thanks a
problem.
lot,
Thank you
Rohan.
so much.
Pleasure connecting with you, Kavanav. Thank you all.
Thank you, Rohan and Shashwat. Shashwat, this was an excellent session, buddy. And thanks, Rohan. And please feel free to get in touch on a personal level.
Yeah.
It will be, yeah.
Definitely. You
Thank
both
you.
have been just one call away from us. So thank you.
Okay, thanks. Thanks so much.